Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss Season 4 of Stranger Things. This is the Netflix original show. First premiered back in 2015. Here we are 7 years later, finally have Season 4. These take a long time to make. The pandemic was a factor in this as well. I have my Steve Harrington hat. I have my Adventure Time parody shirt. That is an Adventure Time Stranger Things poster of the first season. I have my Steve Harrington tattoo here. Like, we're I could do a 30-minute dissertation on this entire season, but like I don't want to. It's very hard to talk about. I watched this 3 consecutive times. I've watched season 4 3 consecutive times since part 1 came out, and then watching part 2 numerous times to collectively watch it as one full 3 times. This is 9 episodes long. Each episode is over an hour long, hour 18-ish, minus the last one, which is 2.5 hours long. But it brings us so many answers to so many questions. We have a prequel story in this as well. The comics that we talked about recently, that's 8-9 months prior to the events of episode 7 of season 4, the murder massacre at Hawkins' lab. So it's neat seeing a younger Eleven in her developmental of the powers. It's neat seeing allies and foes at such an early stage. We're introduced to the character of One. We're introduced to backstory of why Brenner started the program, how One was the first subject, how all these different things, right, within this season. But there's a lot of different stories going on in the same time. You have Lenora, California group. You have Elle and Will just started being freshmen in high school, dealing with that stuff. She still doesn't have her powers. Jonathan has his new friend Argyle, who's hysterical, works for Surfer Boy Pizza, which is a fictitious chain, which in the Stranger Things universe, which is incredible. Joyce is working from home. She's doing telemarketer stuff, selling atlases or encyclopedias, something like that. Murray joins the mix after Joyce gets a random package from Russia. Murray comes to help save the day to figure out if Hopper is still alive. We have Russian stories. Hopper is still alive in a prison in Russia, trying to figure out his escape with the help of a guard and blackmailing and things of that nature. There's the Hawkins group who are still there trying to figure out their stuff. There's just a lot that goes on, and then the characters are just spread out. And the plot points of this is there's murders in Hawkins. Again, why are these teens getting killed again? Why are they seeing grandfather clocks chiming 4 times? Is Eddie Munson really a murderer with all of this? Mason Dye plays his character of Jason in this, and we know and love him from Teen Wolf. He played Garrett way back in the day. So to see him play a totally different character, but still a murderous psychopath, is still neat at the same time. It's just nice watching actors grow within the craft to show how better they become as time progresses. But Max starting to see the visions, Max dealing with past trauma within Billy's death because of the end of season 3 and all of the torment he caused her throughout his life. Lucas's growth, Dustin's growth, this Mike visiting the Lenora group, for spring break, all hell breaking loose, them having to travel to Salt Lake City, Utah to get help from Susie. It's amazing how much ground was covered within this season, and it's amazing that all of the stories were separate, but they all interconnected. So the Russian group had to help kill whatever monsters were there because of the gate to help the Hawkins group fight, the character Vecna in this particular thing. Vecna being Henry, being One, being all these different things. His origin story, Victor Creel is Robert Englund. Robert Englund is Victor Creel. That background origin story of the 50s taking place in Hawkins. Oh my God, it's just so much happened. And to have, Eddie shredding Master of Puppets by Metallica in the Upside Down was just one of the most iconic scenes in Stranger Things histories, aside from Turn Around, that whole beautiful finale moment in season 3, which is my favorite season, to be completely honest. This gave us a lot of answers, though. So this was nice going into memory. Elle learning how to piggyback to help Max. Tried to help Max. Eddie's passing. Max is passing. Max coming back, but still in a coma. Now she's lost. Does Vecna have her consciously? So many unanswered questions. But Vecna brings the upside down to Hawkins. He brings the real world as a 7.4 magnitude earthquake crumbling, so that way the vines and the upside down can come and merge, because Vecna's been trying to eradicate, the filth of the worlds, the mediocre men who have no business, being in charge, because he's the predator, he's the alpha, in a sense. Getting the origin of, Vecna is the Mind Flayer, that they are one, that they're one hive-minded unit, that once Henry got to the Upside Down, because of El, because of the battle of, because of the massacre at Hawkins, there's my words, he forged together with the Shadow Monster. He is the Shadow Monster. He is the Mind Flayer. He is Vecna. He's all these different things controlling the Demogorgons and the Demodogs alike within the Upside Down, bringing them to the real world. He just needed a gate to be opened, and El created the gate to be opened. Having El in a Nina Project secret bunker in Nevada, that was another story. Working with Dr. Owens, working with Dr. Brenner, who was back from the dead, who wasn't actually dead to begin with. Very interesting plot development of bringing her memories back, bringing her powers back in the sense as well. Whole fighting along with the way, going back to Hawkins to fight as well. But it's amazing of what happens next, because so much happened in this season. I cried so many times in this season, from deaths, from reunions, from beautiful cinematic panning of characters with a score in the background. Like, so much happened. And episode 4 of Dear Billy with Max is just some of the greatest acting we've ever seen, not just for the show, but in general. Like, Sadie Sink is an incredible actress, and the improvisation that Caleb had with playing Lucas while holding Max, not knowing what to do, him screaming "Erica helped" is just a pure improvisational line, and it was not scripted, and it just brings so much trauma to these characters that you want them to be happy. You don't want them to suffer anymore. And now that the Upside Down is literally in Hawkins, what happens next? But a thing that was very interesting throughout, and I'm rambling obviously, but Will coming to terms with his own feelings, with his own sexuality, not vocalizing black or white, gay or straight kind of a thing. He's realized that he has a crush on Mike, that he likes Mike, but he can't tell Mike this, and he doesn't know how to tell Mike this. So he says these things in regards to making Mike a painting, that Elle basically commissioned it, and Elle says this, and Elle says you're the heart of the group, and Elle would be lost without you, but really he's talking about himself. Jonathan picks up on the clues, has a heart-to-heart with him at a surfboard pizza place, right before they start to, get Elle in a sensory tank to piggyback into Max's mind to help fight Vecna at the snowball, which was a beautiful scene. But so many different things. There's so many different depths, so many different characters. Will's going to be a big focal point within season 5, just because of how it ended, with him knowing how Vecna feels, knowing the truth now, knowing that he was a puppet all this time as well, but remembering how he thinks, why he thinks certain things like that predator aspect. It was so well done. I don't mind that I waited 3 years for this. I genuinely don't mind. I don't want to wait 3 more years for the next one, but the Duffer Brothers have an amazing way of telling story through art, cinematography, and actual plot points. To bring it all the way back to, that's what Elle's purpose was to reopen a door to make sure Henry is officially dead. Mind-blowing, going all the way back to the beginning. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And all of this because this was going to be a show about experimenting on kids in Montauk, and they changed it to Hawkins, Indiana. That way, it's a completely fictitious aspect. But I'm blown away at how this has withstood the test of time. And Kate Bush's song "Running Up the Hill" has been #1 for quite some time recently, and it never peaked at that highest of a point back when it originally came out in the 80s. So this show has power. This show has power. This has drive. This has power. This has fandom. This has relevance, not just within pop culture, but within media in general. Like, it's not just a film breaking records. It has music breaking records. It has merchandise constantly everywhere you go. The food products. Everyone wants a Surfer Boy pizza place now. I'm sure it's going to happen. It's amazing to see how much power an entity has, And the Duffer Brothers are gods amongst us mere mortals. That's as far as I can say it, because they've created this world, this universe that has books, that's going to have a spin-off series, that's going to have a fifth and final season. It's amazing what they've created. It's amazing what Netflix has worked with them. Netflix has some projects which are just dumb, but Netflix has incredible worldwide phenomenon projects, which can create products. And this is a prime example of one of the originals from 7 years ago that we all stay true and love, knowing that the next one's only going to get better. And I know that the next one's even going to be better, and it's going to be crazier, and it's going to be more intense. And I'm emotionally not ready. I'm still distraught with Eddie, being held by Dustin, saying I didn't run away this time, and Lucas holding on to Max. It's so many emotions flying at once. My eyes leaked numerous times during watching this on the three separate occasions that I actually watched this. It's amazing. I give all credit where credit is due. I'm amazed with how wonderful this season turned out to be, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.